Most insurance agents are stuck inside of a jail cell that they created for themselves. My name is Tyler Woodall. My team at Agency Shop Talk, Brandon Rondon and Patrick Murakami. This week, we put together a training that we call the 10-Hour Agency Challenge. So, for 5 different days, we put together a 1 hour training on pieces that insurance agency owners need to install inside of their agency so that they can run their agency on 10 hours per week. In this video, I am talking about the first installment, which is the systems and processes that every agency needs to install so that they can operate efficiently. You cannot scale chaos, so you have to fix the back end before you start adding in additional referrals and adding more leads to grow your agency. So let's get into the video and hope to see you in the next one. So this week we did the 10-Hour Agency Challenge. So essentially everything you need to run your agency in roughly 10 hours a week or less. So the real problem, most agencies don't have a lead problem. They have a consistency problem. So leads are coming in from all over the place. You don't really know where. You've got tons of different team members inside your agency that are quoting things differently, or you do it differently just based on how much time you have. Sales team members are mood dependent based on what their day's looking like. So, for example, they may have more energy before lunch. After lunch, they're a little bit sluggish, and so their sales process is completely different. You're onboarding clients chaotically, or you're reactive rather than proactive with service. So you wait for clients to come in versus proactively reaching out and following up with claims, et cetera. And so we're going to talk through how to fix a lot of these issues pretty easily. One of the issues you're probably feeling right now is if any of those sounded true for you and your agency's inconsistent and you are required. You have to be there day to day to fix all of these problems. That causes a lot of headaches. You're constantly getting decision fatigue because all day long, everybody inside the agency is reaching out to you for every decision, no matter how big or small. And the more that you grow, the more headaches and issues you have because more things are constantly coming to you. And you're at the point where you need people, but you don't know what to have them do because you can't delegate anything because there's no processes. You can't hire a new person because then you have to train them and it takes even more time. And so these are the common issues that we see. And in order to fix that, you need the same inputs every single time. So leads need to come into your agency the same way. Now, obviously, you're going to have different referral partners and different people calling you all the time, but there's ways to standardize how it comes into the agency. There's ways to set up processes so things are handled the same way every time. And so by doing this, you can get the same outcomes every time. So systems create freedom. They don't define you into a little box. They allow you to be free to operate in different ways. And this compounds over time. Randomness creates lots of busybodies and jobs. And so what you need to think of your agency, there's several different pieces that every single agency does and that you probably do every single day. So if you break it down, think about it. You have to do 5 things. You've got to bring in leads to the agency. You got to find people that raise their hand and say, yes, I want you to quote my insurance. Then you've got to actually quote the business. And then once it's quoted, you have to present and close. You have to educate them on insurance and get them to sign the line that is dotted so that they will sign up and do business with you. Because otherwise, you're not making money. And why are you doing insurance? Step number 4, you have to onboard these clients. And so this is the piece a lot of people miss. This is going to help you on service. So how many times have you had clients calling you at midnight saying, hey, I've got a pipe that burst. We've got a problem. Well, in your onboarding, if you train them how to get the best service out of your agency, you can fix those problems now. And so obviously, people are crazy and we live in a wild world. So you're never going to 100% solve that, but you can cut down your stress load significantly by planning ahead. And then the 5th piece is handling service. Kind of like what I mentioned, there's going to be service tasks all the time. And so you need to be able to handle those, but you know the most common service tasks you're getting. People need ID cards. If you're commercial, people need COIs, billing questions, claims, etc. And so you can set up a service pipeline so that you can track all of these things, and you can have semi-standardized automation that's going out to help save you a little bit of time and effort. And so step one, bring in leads the same way every single time. So the way that I teach to do this is with some standardized lead intake forms. So in the training that I didn't record, we talked about Risk Advisor is a really great option. Brandon was talking about he uses them. If you don't use Risk Advisor, hit up David Watson. They've got some really cool resources. If you don't have the availability to go do that, you can build a lot of this in Jotform. So it's not going to have some of the conditional logic that David's team has built into theirs, but you can build out a Jotform that asks the basic questions you need. And we'll put a link below where you can download some of those resources. But all you got to do, make sure the data comes into your agency the same way every single time. Most of our agencies use Agency Zoom, but there's tons of different CRMs. And so you need to connect those intake forms to your CRM so that it comes in every time the same way. So first letter of a name's capitalized so that when you're sending out automation, it looks the right way. And this also allows you to track how many lead request or quote requests did we get this week? Is that higher than it was last week? What about last month? And so it allows you to see trends in your agency, because what gets tracked, you can grow. And so if you don't have any types of metrics, you don't know if the agency's doing better or worse. You're kind of just throwing darts at a wall, praying something works. And so step two, quoting the same way every time. No more improv. So we recommend standardized quoting forms. So for example, a lot of agencies inside Shop Talk do 100, 300, 100 limits for auto. And so if you just have some type standard intake forms and standard quoting forms, this allows you to move so much faster. So a lot of people are going to recommend 250, 500, 250 with an umbrella. And if somebody's price conscious, then you can drop to 100, 300. And so if you're asking the same questions every time in the same order, that allows whoever handles your quotes to know exactly what they're getting. They get the same thing every time. They know exactly where to go. If you set up an agency matrix so that your virtual assistants or your CSRs know when we have a home, here's the list of carriers we go to. When we have an auto, here's the list of carriers. Because a lot of times, even if you have a rater, a lot of standard carriers don't show up or don't pull properly in several different raters. So this is a way to kind of fix those things and just get ahead of the problems. And so step three, present and close the same way every time. So you're going to hear, once we skip over into the actual recording, about how Brandon records a lot of Loom proposals and send these out to the clients. He primes the conversation. He gets the client to buy in and say, yes, I am going to watch the Loom recording of what the coverages are. And then this allows it so that the clients can re-watch the videos as many times as they want, but basically just structure your conversations the same way. If you have one set script that you follow every single time, this allows you then to make tweaks, and it's a controlled variable. So you can see, when I tweak this, does my close rate go up or down? But if you're just free, going at it haphazardly, doing it different every single time, you never know what's working and what's not working. And so you can't improve, and your sales team can't improve. So this is where the actual recording started. So I'm going to end it here, and we will switch into the live recording of this day for the 10-hour agency challenge.
Those people usually stick with us more than the people that we save 10, 20 bucks a month for.
Right.
What's your total close ratio, Brandon?
Total close ratio, I would say that's probably about 40, 45% right now. And then out of those, 30 to 40% were more expensive monthly.
That's pretty good.
It is slick.
But it's a lot to do with a lot of we have a lot of captive agents here. I don't know if you guys have where they are, but it is a very quote the minimums, quote without everything kind of area around here to win price because our home prices are so high. And I have a bunch of deck pages that I like black stuff out on to show some of the stuff that we're competing against.
That's cool. So on the sales day, sales and presenting, Brandon's going to talk about that. We'll also talk through, they're pretty big on sending out videos now. Like how much of the time are you guys closing, like actually just getting somebody to close via a Loom versus taking a Zoom call?
We rarely ever do Zoom calls anymore. Everything that we do after we present it, especially home and auto, we always send out a video. And we have about, I can pull up my Loom right now and see what our watch rate is. But I would say probably about 80% watch it all the way to the end on there. And we'll get notifications through Loom to show who's watched it, who hasn't watched it. And then we manually follow up with those. We haven't figured out a way to automate that follow up, see how much they've watched and how much they haven't watched of it.
That's cool. I didn't know. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to automate that, but that'd be incredible. That's cool. But essentially, so we'll cover that. We're going to cover the sales and closing pieces the same way every single time. And then let's see here. We're going to show onboarding processes. So one of the biggest pieces of your agency is making sure you set expectations right. So for example, last week in Shop Talk, Pete was talking about his new process and kind of handling renewals. And so this one's for sure going to be fluid. We're going to show you guys kind of what we've been seeing, but setting up the same process every time so that clients are coming into the agency and they know exactly where they get service. So for example, a lot of you here have probably gotten the midnight calls from a client wanting to place a claim. How do we educate those clients so that they're not calling our cell phones? I know that I early on wanted all my clients to have my cell phone because I felt like I was giving better service. But then it turns into a massive headache when you've got a couple hundred clients all calling you anytime they've got an issue. And so if you can alleviate that early on, onboarding them the right way and sending them to whatever you guys use. If you use Glovebox or if you've got some type of AI tool that can answer it, anything you can do there is super helpful. And then again, handling service the same way every time. So for example, setting up a service pipeline where if it's tagged claims, you're going to be able to handle claims, make sure that automation goes out the same way. So for example, it could be a 1-day follow-up. Hey, client first name. We got the claim filed with Travelers. Wanted to see if you've heard from an adjuster yet. Let me know how I can help. And then a 5-day follow-up. Hey, how's everything going? Is there anything I can help with? Generic enough that it can go out to anybody, but specific enough that they know that you're caring. And that's just going to save as much time as possible. And so we've got templates for all of this stuff. We'll send it out to everybody. But really, the two biggest things are you've got two options. Either you're going to be the system or you build a system that's going to run without you. And so we would love to get everybody into that second bucket where you can kind of leave it and it will run without you. And so the second half of this week, so Monday and Tuesday, we're going to help set up the systems. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to show you the new ways of generating business that we've been testing. Kind of like I mentioned earlier with Patrick, I think we've gotten him 26 new lenders over the past few weeks that have agreed to send him business. I don't know how many actual appointments we've booked. It's been in the 30s probably. But so we're going to show you the process of how we're getting those lenders. So we're scraping all of these contacts off Zillow. Then we're sending outreach to get them to book appointments. And then we'll show you the script that Patrick's using to convert them. And then how to get them consistently sending business. Essentially, one of the keys is the lender is obviously going to have the relationship with the client, but the loan processor is who sends the request for insurance. And so one of the things that I actually learned from Steve Fisher was he would sign an agreement with the processor. And so anytime they sent out their documents to their client to get the pre-approvals, he would have the processor include a 1-page slip from his agency that got permission to go ahead and do a soft credit pull. That way he could go ahead and finalize a quote and send it to the lender. That allowed him then to follow up with the client. But that's how he was able to promise 1 hour turnaround times with a lot of his lenders. He already had the approval. And so he could run a quote, send it back, because they can't do anything. They can't submit it without some type of rough estimate for homeowners insurance. And so this is a really cool way that you can help your clients. We'll also give you scripts on getting more reviews. We've had a lot of success there. So for example, you should, if you've got a book of business of clients, we'll send you over scripts. You should be able to get 10 to 15% of them to go through and leave you a 5-star review. We'll show you some tips on how to go into Facebook groups and generate leads, and also how to boost your rankings in SEO. Patrick's going to handle a lot of that. So for homework, really the two biggest pieces are setting up your pipeline and setting up your standard intake forms. So the Google Doc that I shared with everybody, I'm going to pull it up and make sure we're all looking at the same page here. All right. So can everybody see how to automate your insurance agency?
Yep.
Cool. All right. So essentially, this should be a step-by-step process on setting things up. If you don't have pipelines set up, a lot of you already do. Like Brandon, he's got pretty wild pipeline set up already, but it's specific to his agency. And so they have a defined way that all of his VAs are going to bring everything in each time, and it works for them. So the first key is clean data. So if you don't have an intake form already, you can shoot me a message. We can build you one in high level. We won't charge you for it. I've got an agency level account, so I can set up as many sub accounts as I want for free. So if you want, we'll help you build these things out. Otherwise, I always built mine in WordPress forms for my agency. Brandon does his in Jot forms. Does anybody use anything else?
We just moved to Risk Advisor, and their forms have been solid, like really, really good.
So what's that's David Watson?
I think it's Watson.
Yeah. I know that he's got some pretty cool stuff. Does he set up all the Zapier integrations for you?
It doesn't even go through Zapier.
It just integrates straight into Zoom.
It's integrated. We signed up because we wanted the underwriting AI, and it just the forms came with it. Their underwriting AI is good because we'll put in like the quote, the year, the roof, all that stuff, and then it'll tell us what carriers to quote with first. That will give it full replacement or accept the best of siding or all that stuff. It's a really neat setup. So we canceled Canopy Connect and got this for the same price, and it has the same import thing that Canopy Connect does.
How much is it a month?
It's like $250 or $265, and that's how much Canopy Connect was.
That's cool.
And it has the AI underwriting, the Jot forms where they can manually fill it out, or the intake or the import your documents form.
That's awesome. I didn't realize it had the import your documents. That's awesome.
They cool. Also, I didn't use them because they couldn't integrate with my Raider. But he said, "Wait, Pete, we have this thing now that will just automatically, kind of like not Kara. What's the one that's like the
Gale?
Little paste into it for you?
Gaia.
Gaia. It's kind of like on that level, so it takes everything and it just pastes it into your own Raider."
Oh, really? I didn't know they had that too.
That's real cool. So it can like super copy and super paste everywhere.
Yeah.
That's really neat. I didn't know they could do that. I'd seen that David was working on the new AI tool that tells you appetite guides, and that's pretty slick. But I like that. So yeah, if you can, that sounds like a great option. If you don't have anything, message me. We'll set you something up just so you've got it. Because that's one of the big keys. A lot of agents are still using like paper forms to write everything down and bring it in. And that's just not the best way, especially not if you've got VAs or if you've got CSRs that are running the quotes for you. So I would recommend having that. And so we've got essentially, these pages are covering a lot of the basics. If you've already got these forms, need name, email, phone, address, date of birth. And then each one of these is a template to the specific form. So we have got the individual forms and all the different questions that they need to be asking. So for home insurance, here's all the different things you could possibly want to ask a client, and it will ask them, and you can set it all up on a form. You can choose what you do and don't want. If you ask all of these questions, I assure you, none of your clients are going to complete it. So kind of pick and choose what you want there. But that's got all of it, and I just wanted to leave it kind of in you guys' court to pick.
We use JotForm, and that's kind of as far as we've gotten this. The logic to get all of that data without asking all of those questions.
Yeah.
The home's built in 2023. It needs to skip all that shit type of thing. That's the part I haven't got to.
So that Scott, that part's actually pretty easy. You could actually do that a couple ways. You could use the data that you've already got in the CRM. So if you know the answer to this question, don't ask. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Hey, have I ever had a claim? No. Then why would I keep asking you a claims question? So that's actually pretty easy to do with John.
I just haven't gone in and done each of those logic steps.
Yeah. One of the frustrating pieces once you start doing that is I kept having to redo my zaps as I did that. Like as I added in additional pieces, like I kept having to rebuild out my zaps. But yeah, message me, Ryan, if you want, and I'll hop on a Zoom with you and help you set that stuff up. Because it's not hard. It's just takes time.
No, it's time consuming, I guess, probably more than anything that I don't seem to get to it.
Yeah.
I also used it.
Don't ask stupid questions that are publicly available to you off of like an assessor database or something like that, a county database. So if you don't ask the year built or the square footage, because all that shit's online.
Well, unless it's a new house or something like that. If it's new construction, that's where you run into that challenge. Or sometimes if it's
that's when you have to make a phone call.
Yeah, and that's what we do.
That's 1% of the time, Chris.
For a lot of people who do new construction, it's about 80%.
For my team, what we ended up doing is I slimmed the form down a pretty good bit. Like it was 3 pages. I asked all the basic contact info, some very generalized questions about the home, and then a claims question on the next page. So anytime we had a quote request, even via email, my VAs would fill out our jot form so that the data always came in the same way every time. So regardless of if somebody sent me the decks or if a client called in, we always filled out the form. That way it's coming in the same way every time. You can go to JotForm and you can track how many submissions you had that month. So you can know how many quote requests you had. It just makes tracking a whole lot easier. And so that's the basics of these forms. Does anybody have any like specific softwares you guys are using that you've got questions on?
I'm just barely to momentum, so I'm gonna have a billion questions.
Ryan, are you putting your CRM and everything in Momentum?
Not right now.
Okay.
We're gonna use it as an AMS first. Then we may. I can see the day where we at least have all the service move over there. I don't know that I want to move my prospecting from Agency Zoom.
Yeah. I don't know. So it's built on Go.
I may down the road. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So
well, it's built on Go High Level. Some people don't realize that. It's just basically a white label version of Go High Level. So it can get pretty specific, but it can also be kind of sticky to build out sometimes.
Yeah. And that's what we'll decide. We're just getting away from QQ so we can at least
you have
scale better that way as an AMS.
Yeah.
And we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, QQ is a disaster trying to get data in and out of.
How hard is it?
Yeah, and they just made some upgrades to that over the weekend. So you can export all your clients, import new clients. They just made a big change over the weekend to get your data for QQ. I would like to mention Kara because I know some of our people are using Kara. I see your faces on there. I don't know if anyone else experienced this, but they stopped sending email notifications, for messages and voicemails that they took over a month ago.
See, I don't have that problem because I saw that coming. So what I did is I went and built my own integration with HubSpot. So when a customer calls in, it creates a ticket, it creates a deal, contact, whatever. And in the description, it tells me automatically exactly why they're calling. So I couldn't tell you the last time I logged into Kara because of how I built the integration.
Well, I know you're a lot smarter than that, than I am with all of that integration stuff. And I'm just frustrated with all of this technology that doesn't work. Yeah.
I'm also working on replacing
you
Kara
know.
right now. Got my developers
Yeah.
building that I'm helping them build a phone system and some other things that hopefully will save us about $600 a month.
Diane, did you see Elise's comment in the chat? She said she was having that same
sir.
issue, and she messaged in and started a support ticket, and they were able to help.
Yeah, they did fix it, but I'm highly disappointed that they didn't notice it was an error, and they've taken no accountability or no responsibility. And the people that I hired 2 people to manage our phones and using Kara, and because they're so new, they've never worked in insurance before. 45 days went by before they realized that, hey, we haven't been getting any emails from Kara. And we had customers that thought their claims were being processed. I mean, I'm like super pissed right now with Kara. Very, very upset with them because
Have you
no
talked to Dick?
accountability.
I know you do support.
Yeah.
But it actually goes.
Yeah.
directly
And
to
he
Dick.
said, well, we changed your number. We changed your phone number, your Kara phone number. I'm like, well, you never told me. How would I know to go and tell Lightspeed, to update the number? And I don't care if you changed my number. You should have told me.
Well, yeah,
I'm giving you 600 a month.
You have to set up forwarding the right way. So if they change your number, it's forwarding to the wrong number.
I just set up. I just set up Kara in August, and then 2 weeks later, I hired 2 people.
Yep.
Like I said, there are receptionists here in the office. We get a lot of walk-ins, and we get about 80 phone calls a day. So, Kara changed my phone number between August the 1st and October, and never said a word about it.
So here's my question: why did they change your phone number?
They said I went from version 2.0 to 3.0. I don't have any emails.
We haven't seen that problem yet.
Yeah, but like I said, if a guy wouldn't have called and said, "Hey, where's my claim?" During normal business hours, I would never have known because I don't get those emails. But yeah, I'm a little upset with them.
Yeah, because you get past. I don't know. Your side's a little different. My side, say I got to 61 days and I claim to get filed, my customer's not going to be covered because the proof of loss has to be in within 60 days.
Right.
Yeah.
So now that's an E&O issue on me.
I feel like it's an E&O issue, altogether when you're getting, I have almost 2 months worth of voicemails. But anyway, technology, it can be a little disappointing. I think sometimes we put too much into it.
Here's what I feel like sometimes. We remove too much of the human out of it.
Right.
And I got to tell people, we don't humanize the process. Sometimes we just copy and paste with technology, and we just think that it's going to be the greatest employee in the world and it's going to be perfect. And sometimes we forget that a human needs to oversee each step of its step.
I don't disagree with you there.
Well, and that's why we have, our VAs in the Philippines and wonderful people. And then, like I said, 2 new people here to really help with customer service and replace some of the technology that we are actively firing.
And that's what I'm doing with VAs right now, Diane. I'm actually hiring engineers because they from the Philippines, because they seem to be much more advanced at critical thinking. So instead of just putting the data in the system, they can question the data, which is what I want them to do. Like, I want you to be 2 steps ahead of me. When this happens, I want you to question the AI or, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right. I don't want you to just go and do it.
I don't want to jump on Tyler here, so I'll say it delicately. That is and I work with my VA closely, trying to get him to think outside that box. He's so task oriented and so good at tasks, but our world isn't just tasks. That's one of our biggest challenges.
Yeah. And look, from an AA standpoint, I would say 90% of VAs are task-based. And it is very hard to find critical thinkers. And as I said, that's why I've had to go, like, the girl I'm getting ready to hire is coming from a civil engineering background. And that's what her degree's in. Software engineer. Like, I look for areas where people have to do a lot of critical thinking skills compared to just doing those tasks.
Yeah, that would help, I think. Good idea.
That's a tough one to teach.
Building my own CRM and AMS, that's the biggest learning curve. So if I have someone with those critical thinking skills, that really lowers our learning curve.
Pete.
Can we walk back to the intakes for a second?
Yeah.
So, are you doing a separate intake form for every loan officer that you're working with, or are you putting in there, this is coming from such and such place? Are you giving them each their own landing page, kind of a deal?
So we weren't doing it that way. We've set up just one loan officer intake form, and then there's a field on it that says loan officer name. Typically, what I've trained loan officers to do is just send us the 1003 form. I don't know if it's different per state, but the 1003 is like the homeowner's insurance request form, and they just forward us that. And then myself or my VA will take the information from that form, fill it into our intake form, and we'll put the lender's name in that field. That's how we've done it. Now, I can see the benefits of if you've got a loan officer that just wants to fill out that form, setting up a landing page for them. But so for our intake forms, we've got one general personal lines form that we fill out, one that is a loan officer form, and then we've got a commercial form. So we've got 3 different forms that our team would fill out. I just separated it on this document just so people can like pick and choose what they want to grab. How have you got it set up, Pete?
One form as well, but and one landing page for realtors and one landing page for loan officers. Me personally, I've never had respect. That too. I've never had success with loan officers.
Interesting. Okay, so I've never had success with realtors. The lenders are the only one that I've had anything come in through.
All about the messaging.
So I've had. Go ahead.
No, I was just answering Chris. My problem is these loan officers want the cheapest insurance. They want us to give the 100,000 liability. You don't need replacement cost contents. I just need to close this thing. I don't give a shit about the client. I don't want to work with loan officers like that. That are just trying to push people into these loans. That's the issue that I've run into with loans.
And that's what we all need to do is say no. We still have to be able to say no to certain people. We're completely virtual, but we have a physical 12 by 12 office in Guaranteed Rate local office. And I'm very good friends with that branch manager. He is just like that. And I've told him, don't bother sending me stuff to quote. It's okay. He says, what do you mean? You don't want them? I said, no, I don't want to do it your way.
They find a shyster agency that will do it their way, and they funnel everything to that shyster agency, and it's just so frustrating.
I've had a couple of really close friends that were lenders that are like that, and they found a goosehead agent that will just write mens on everything, and that dude would get all their business. But yeah, I told him, hey, I'm not going to be able to keep quoting this anymore, because I was quoting a ton of business for them. They were doing a ton of transactions, but it was wasting my time because I wasn't going to close any of them. Because I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to get the lowest possible rate for your client, but a lot of times I've had success going upstream with just higher lenders that are dealing with higher end homes, and that's where we've had the success. And so one of the things that we do when we're scraping on Zillow, there's a few different websites. One of them's Model Match. If you guys have heard of it, it's kind of like Bradley Flowers' new software. It's like $200. And you can filter out the lenders based on the number of transactions this year, as well as the dollar amount of transactions this year. And so you can filter and get higher level lenders that way. You'll get the name.
Does that let you filter based on like the specific loan amount? Like you could say, hey, he closed 2 $1 million loans.
I don't remember if it did or not. I can let you know. I know that it allowed me to filter based on number of transactions and then dollar amount of total loans. But I'll have to go see if it was able to get that granular. I know I could filter it a lot by address.
I think that would eliminate a lot of the issues like Pete and Ryan have that
Yeah.
just try to get the deal done. Well, if we're working on the higher loan amounts, we're typically not running into those issues.
When I'm
Right.
onboarding an LO, though, that's one of the things that I say. If there is a DTI issue and there's a spot on the form for that, and you let me know, then we need to work something out. If there is not, then why do you care if that person wants their $300,000 of jewelry insured or not? Doesn't matter. But they're wired to, I do a better job if I get them the lowest payment, save them the most money. That's the only way their mind works. And that's why we, as agency owners and producers, will not get along with them. We're not wired that way. It's what do you need? So
That is true.
it's an ongoing challenge, but if we explain it to them, and sometimes they're not a good fit for us, and I just move on.
This is Bradley Flowers' model too, is right? All he does is loan officers. Wasn't there a free loan officer website out there? besides-
Yeah, Tyler had one, didn't he?
Do what?
Yeah,
Scotsman Guide.
Notes out there or something.
Scotsman Guide is the one that everybody used to use. I'm going to send y'all the link. So Model Match is what I've used with a lot of success. I think they've got a free trial. It's like 2 weeks free. You can scrape real estate agents and loan officers, and you can see transactions that way. So this is a free-ish option. Another thing that you can do is, I was going to cover this in the next training, but I'm just going to go ahead and send it here. Zillow took it off of their homepage. They used to have a tab that said lenders, but you can just Google Zillow lenders or just go to this link, and that is the lender directory. And so you'll be able to see how many reviews they have, which obviously isn't a direct correlation to how much business they've done, but it's pretty dang close. But one of the neat keys is on Zillow, it is going to give you their phone number, sometimes their email address, their website. So I went to the first lender listed on that link that I sent in the chat. And it has got, the first one is just an office, and it's got their office number. Second one's an office number. Third one, all right, it's got his cell phone, his fax, if you really want to get frisky, his website, his address. And so a lot of times that's how we're doing it. We're scraping via Zillow. We can get the cell phone number, and then we're reaching out that way. But then Patrick, he's got, I don't want to take his thunder because he's doing a training on like how he's converting all of these people, but he's got a full presentation, and essentially he's talking about generally lenders see the relationship with clients as a triangle. So the real estate agent starts it, they send it to the lender, who sends it to the insurance agent. He's like, I want you to think of it as a diamond with me down here, the insurance agent. And he's like, the longest line between the client and a person is with me, the insurance agent. I'm going to be with them for 7 to 8 years on average. So I've got the most opportunity to send them back to you because they're probably going to buy another house in 5 to 7 years. So I've got an opportunity to send you referrals. And he was showing how he tags them in his CRM and handles it that way. But he's doing a lot of education. Same thing we're kind of talking about, just making sure that they know clients are taken care of. So I'll have to find out how many lenders he's had to walk away from because of that. But yeah, I do think if you can work with higher level loan officers, that's where you'll have the most success. So, but that's the basics of what I had today. So we've still got 20 minutes. We can chat about whatever, kind of just treat it like a shop talk. Does anybody have any big headaches right now other than technology and hiring people?
Besides
just don't get
lying about the condition of their homes.
And then I can upload it to the carrier.
Yeah, not much you can do there.
Yeah, so when they're open down,
I've got one that's getting, I just saved her a ton of money, saved her like $2,000. She was all excited. And I asked her, do you have any issues with the house? No. The house is the side of the house is green with moss. It's just all falling apart.
I'm gonna have to put that on mute.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, I got to replace that one. It's going from $3,000 premium to $6,500 in the pool.
Hey, I didn't realize how good the wind pool was up in. I mean, not wind pool. The
But yeah,
state insurance program in Mass was.
oh, it's awesome. It's
Oh my
cheaper than
gosh.
it's cheaper than a
Commissions
lot
it
of our
pays and
carriers.
everything. So Carlos was showing it to me a couple of months ago.
When does State Farm come there, Pete?
They're doing talent search for 2026, getting everybody lined up, and then they're starting in 2027.
That's gonna be real interesting.
Yeah.
I'm terrified. I just know they're gonna come in here and just like undercut everybody and everything.
Oh yeah, and they'll do massive marketing too. They do.
Yeah, but
bunch
here's
of
the thing, Pete. Here's something you can go off of. I mean, I don't say be negative on a brand, but all right, people, let's look at how long this company's been in the state. Let's look at the track record here. So you got to find a way
Yeah,
to spin it.
I mean, it's my intention to take their momentum and use it too. You know, if they're out here searching for talent, you know, why go be a producer for one carrier when you can be a producer for hundreds?
Or you could retarget people that are visiting. If you find out what the page is that they're sitting out there, you could use that as an ad and retarget people based on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think we have 2 all-state agencies in the entire, maybe 3 or 4 now in the state. That's it.
Man, that's crazy.
And Geico and Progressive just came into the state maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and they've taken maybe 14-15% of the market. Independent agencies up here still control about 70-something% of the market. 77%. It's a crazy number.
That's crazy. The captive market's like 65-70% here. Like that's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we don't have captives really.
That's crazy. What state are you, Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Is anybody calling all of their customers before renewal?
We talked about that last week, and we switched to what Pete did, where someone said like, "Don't kick the sleeping dog," and so we've taken out all of our trigger words in our thing and let them know like, "Hey, if we reach out, it's customer reshopping, but if we don't reach out, your renewal is good to go." And then we have 18 companies. We kind of reworded everything in there to not have any trigger words in our renewal process now.
Yeah, we tried that this year. We sent a letter to every customer with an air freshener that said at the bottom, and we sort of been branding it because this is our 25th year. If you feel like you're paying too much for your insurance, please let us know because we can always consider lowering your coverages, raising your deductibles, or shopping with our other companies. So that may have brought our retention up a couple of points, but
Yeah, that pissed people off though. You guys should be doing that automatically for me.
You can't though. It's we've been in business 25 years, thousands of customers. None of the AI technology works. I mean, you could hire a bunch of people, real people, to go through and do it all. But then what happens is you go through and you shop it, and then you try to get them on the phone. They don't answer, so now you've wasted that time and energy.
People assume that you're doing nothing unless you tell them what you're doing.
Right.
And that's what I learned.
And we have a lot of other touch points. We send everybody a handwritten birthday card. We do Christmas cards, lots of other stuff for them. But always looking to improve retention.
To reiterate from last week, my system will notify us if their premium went up more than 15%, and then we'll get on the phone with them. And not necessarily remarket it before we call them, but we're gonna call them, say, "Hey, we noticed your premiums went up. We're gonna take a look at your policy, see if an account discount or something fell off, or if it renewed by something mistake. And if not, we'll try and remarket it for you, and then we keep in touch with them. But that's few and far between.
And are you using like Donna Analytics?
No, Epic. Our download, when our download comes in, it will put an activity for anything that goes up more than 15% automatically. So we don't have to do anything; it does it automatically. But we are, to answer your question, we're calling every single client at the 6 month mark. We don't call on renewal. So we're doing account reviews at the 6 month mark. And if they don't answer the phone, we'll send them a letter saying, hey, we were just looking over your account and had a few suggestions. Give us a call. One of my friends is a E&O instructor. She's been doing it for years. So she knows E&O. She sits on E&O cases all the time. And she said, if you make 2 or 3 suggestions and they don't take any of those suggestions, even if you give them 14 suggestions, they're not going to, they probably won't take them. So if you can notate your file that they said no to your 2 or 3, don't worry about having to tell them every single thing. So
I don't typically give more than 3 suggestions because the human brain shuts down after 3.
Exactly. That's the whole premise of the thing. Once you start giving them a list of suggestions, they shut down.
Yeah,
they just try to upsell me. But if you can give them, hey, you can save some money if you do this, or add an account discount or increase your deductible, and maybe you should have water backup coverage or cyber or pollution or blah blah blah. But
yeah, we have a guy trying to come after us because we didn't offer him OEM parts on his 2015 truck or 2018 truck, whatever, and he didn't even know about it until the claim adjuster was like, "Oh, I see you didn't have the OEM part endorsement on here, so we have to use."
Is that even available on an older vehicle?
Oh, it may have been a 2022, but it wasn't like a brand new truck on there. But like we never offer the OEM because it's only with Safeco that we have the OEM parts on there. So like we don't ever offer it on there. But he's like, "Why didn't you guys offer this to me? I always have this." I was like, "Here's your old policy with Progressive. You didn't have it on there because they don't even offer it. So it's not like you had something and we took it away." But he's trying to file against us for that.
We put it on anytime the carrier offers it.
Yeah, we do.
Certain year, it's a mandatory put it on. It doesn't make or break any deal. It's on all of them. Because the body shops will end up throwing us out of the bus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We will put any new business application that we do a checklist. Do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? And we'll list all that shit. Yes, no, yes, no.
Yep.
So I've got that signed on all new business.
So do you sell them like the base package first? Like, hey, this is like where we're at, and then present the price with the optional endorsements afterwards. So
No.
You just give it all up front.
Yep. And I'll point out the differences between our policy and their incumbent,
Mm.
and why they should add this coverage or not. Water backup is a huge one. A lot of people. I'm kind of yes or no on that endorsement. You get $5,000 worth of water backup coverage and it costs $102. I mean, to me, that's not really worth it.
We had 15 water backup coverage claims in one day in my neighborhood. Logan County forgot to shut off the whatever it is, the pipe. It set 300 psi of water and blew our front like 15 houses water tanks up. And we tried to go after
Hey, Uber.
do what? Oh, which we all went to the Logan County like water meeting, and they have governmental immunity, so all their water backup coverage, claimed out on that because it exploded all their stuff in there. We were on the news for it, and it just flooded people's homes. And we had 15 claims like all within like 2 hours that day. So I'm a huge thing for water backup now. But they all had like 20. They all were with Openly too, all of them. So they had full limits on there. They didn't have a max limit to pay out on.
How often are you selling equipment breakdown or home services on home policy?
Ours is only $50 a year here, so we offer it on there. CJ made a good point that it doesn't show up on claim history. I don't know if it does or not, but he says it doesn't show up on claim history when you file a claim against it.
Well, it depends on the state, I would think.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, it could be state dependent on.
Maybe state dependent.
We haven't had a claim on any equipment breakdown at all.
And I don't think CJ's. He may.
I've never even made a claim for that or seen a claim for that. I mean, I'm sure people's refrigerator or furnace shits the bed, but I've never seen anybody.
Yeah, but it doesn't cover wear and tear. It's just electrical or I mean, if a lightning strike hits, you just have a lower deductible, and I mean, but it would cover out anyways underneath there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we add it as much as we can because a furnace up here is 20 grand.
God
If
dang.
it goes out, and especially in the middle of winter, we get brownouts, stuff like that. Fries a furnace, no heat. People are scrambling, worried. And they don't have $15,000-$20,000 to put a new furnace in. So, and like to your point, Brian, it's like $50, $100. It's so cheap. It's almost crazy not to.
Is that for equipment breakdown?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I had to take a call. Yeah, it's a no-brainer for $50, dude, or $100 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's not often anyone that covers it either.
Yeah,
Right? I haven't had any claims. The only thing I had one come through. Someone was like, "Hey, is utility covered?" Like they had the sewer line from their house to the road collapsed, and they were like, "Hey, is this covered?" I'm like, "No, sorry, that's not covered."
We've been adding the service line covers though a lot.
Yeah, so
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't ever sell on price, ever. If they tell me they got their premiums, will say $1,200 for the year, we're coming in at $1,800. I'll show them exactly why, and they'll sell them exactly as far as like a lot of times it's replacement costs, right? I mean, they haven't been serviced in 5 years. Replacement cost is 8 times what it was 3 years ago. That's half the battle, just educating them there. And then, we do annual checkups at renewal on homeowners. We don't do it on auto because that just doesn't make any sense to do it every 6 months. But on commercial lines and homeowners, we'll do an annual checkup. And it's just a form saying, hey, we're this many days out from your renewal coming in. I just want to see if there's anything that's changed. Can you please complete this form? It just asks us some really basic questions. Like on homeowners, it's like, have you made any renovations? Have you bought any expensive jewelry? Things like that. And just kind of gives us a good idea. But then we also, every couple of years, we'll run a replacement cost estimation just to double check. And I've renewed policies where we've upped the replacement cost. And the carrier's like, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
The homeowner if the homeowner has a complete burn down, I mean, then they know they're covered, but it's a double-edged sword. But it goes back to the point of, if we keep selling solely on, if you're upset about your insurance going up, everyone's insurance going up. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you're upset on your insurance going up, we can help save you money. I never tell anyone I'm going to save them money.
Liam,
Never.
what kind of return are you getting on those emails prior to renewal?
Probably about 60%.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. When we first implemented, it was like 10, 20. We've been doing it for 3 years now, and everyone's just used to it. And then we use it to cross-sell like crazy, and it just gives us good insight. I mean, I had one person that we had their homeowners, then we got their auto, and then we did an umbrella, and then we did life.
What kind of questions are you asking on it?
On the homeowners, it's like general stuff. And you obviously have vehicles, would you be opposed to us, having a look at that? And then they send over their policy. Then we ask them, personal questions like, do you have any kids? Do you have any grandkids? Do you have any, firearms? Big one. That's a big one. And then we educate them on personal liability, and then cross them the umbrella and getting them to buy those and showing them like, hey, listen, if someone gets hurt on your property, for $300 for the year, you get $1 million.
Yeah, that's the best money in insurance right there.
And when you tell them, hey, if you have to lawyer up, you're $100,000 or $300,000, or if you're, $500,000, you're gonna blow through that, and then you're left with nothing, and then they're gonna take the house. So it's just education. Like State Farm, I think it's like everyone goes to State Farm farmers because that's all they have is to sell on price.
Yep.
Not education. They don't want to educate anybody.
Well, that's fine. They can take those clients. I don't want them anyway.
Oh yeah, 100%. All day. Yeah, I mean, I had one kid call me, and he was like, "Tell me, I just need the bare minimum." And we got his policy, and he had a 2025 F-150, and all he had was liability. And I'm like, how did the bank not repo this? How did they not see that? He's like, well, it's just in case. All the other people, they're all the other bad drivers. I'm like, man, listen, it's exactly why you got to have insurance. First of all, you have a 2025 truck. So the bank can take that if they want, if they find out. So number two, the bare minimum is not going to you hit $100,000 Mercedes, you're screwed.
Yep.
Screwed. Or tractor trailer or guardrail. What's a guardrail run? $40,000? Your $25,000 limit, it's not going to, property damage isn't going to cover that. And he's like, so he calls me the following Monday. He's like, I talked to my family. They said you were right.
Of course.
No, really?
So, Tyler, what's on the agenda tomorrow?
Yeah. Honestly, I'll speed everything up. Tomorrow we'll talk through the exact scripts we're using. So I'll show you guys how to scrape all the lenders and then how we're doing the outreach. And so hopefully come Wednesday, you guys will have booked appointments. So yeah, tomorrow we'll cover getting lenders and getting booked appointments so that they can start sending referrals. And then I think Patrick will teach on Wednesday how to turn that appointment into referrals coming in. So
Looking forward to that.
sweet.
Cool. Sounds good.
Awesome, guys. Well,
Tyler, Brandon,
Thanks,
thanks for
guys.
doing this, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks,
you
guys.
Appreciate you, Tyler.
yeah,
Everybody,
y'all
have a great day.
We'll see y'all tomorrow.
You too. See you guys.
Thanks, Brandon.